Thank you very much, and good morning or good afternoon, everybody. It gives me great pleasure to be here with you today to discuss a subject that obviously interests you that you are here, but as it was said in a debate organized by Brian, in a public hearing, you say officially, not a debate, in a public hearing at the Parliament organized by Brian about a month ago, which was very interesting. Someone said, we should all be interested to what is happening here, but the people most interested are not here. The people most interested are those who are looking for a job, or those who may have found a job but they haven't found a pension or a professional pension attached to that job, and they are not sure that having a job means having a pension later on. So I think this debate actually goes beyond the people who are let's say the obvious stakeholders. Is a very far-reaching debate. What I want to do with you very simply, also because I take for true your words that we should leave space to the debate, is to give you my vision of the challenges that we have, which will not be very dissimilar from yours, and then give you my view of the IORP, where we are in the negotiations, Commission proposal, Council common approach, Parliament working up, and Brian will tell you, and then maybe just mention a few areas of debate, but then leave that truly to the debate without necessarily giving conclusion at the very beginning. Now, common EU challenges. You mentioned obviously one, which could be the most important, which is the demographic challenge. Barring major correction in the demographic structure of Europe, which is possible either naturally, but is more difficult, or via migration, barring any major correction, the situation looks sketched for a major increase of the number of people who will depend on a pension with respect to the number of people who pay for that pension. So the ratio between the pensioner and the workers is due to raise. And already today, Europe has 7% of the world population, 20% of the GDP, and about 50% of social spending, depending also how you measure it and so on and on. But this is more or less the number that are often quoted by politicians, or in general also by those who deal with the subject. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is the one that I think has been put in the open by this Commission very early on in its mandate, after a few weeks, actually 3 weeks to be precise, in the job. This Commission has put forward the Juncker plan for investment, and the reason affiché for the Juncker plan was, of course, the investment gap. So it's very clear that we have an investment gap. It's very clear that the rate of investment has been low recently, where recently is, however, a span of time as long as the crisis has kicked in. And it's clear that with a gap in investment, pension funds, professional pension funds, are those who can provide the long-term, let's say, the long-term perspective that is necessary for improving the investment. And then I would say the third aspect is this aspect that I was referring to at the very beginning, the stability and the perspective of the people. I mean, pensions are a major component of consumer attitudes. If you know that you have a pension, you consume. If you don't know that you have a pension, you do not. That's very simple. You can take any cross-time or even cross-country data, and the cross-country data actually talk a lot. The countries where pensions are relatively low are also those where the saving rate is much higher. This is basic rational consumer and individual behavior, but obviously this impacts a lot, and if that is the case, this takes a toll on the rate of growth. Obviously, let me make a point of subsidiarity, which is very obvious. Obviously, member states are primarily responsible for the overall design of the pension system with respect to many components, with respect to the mix, with respect to the age, with respect to very many variables. The Commission is there to help, and in particular, what we try to do with IORP 1 and what we are doing with IORP 2, and I hope I will make it clear in a minute, is to help in area where the let's say the European angle is an obvious added value. You said in your introduction very clearly 2003 IORP is a number of years old, of course, 12 years old. Many things have changed since then, so I will not repeat what you said, which however means that I subscribe to that. I mean, you highlighted probably one of the most evident change, which is the defined benefit towards defined contribution, and I think you shared our views that we are on that road. It's not clear exactly at which point of the road we have arrived or we ought to arrive. But there are others aspects which were addressed in IORP 1 and which are worth a second thought. One certainly is the fact that having become the sector more under pressure, the need to maximize returns has become even more important. This means looking more thoroughly at the professionality of the pension fund managers, at the governance of the pension fund managers, and so on and on. And then what has also changed quite a lot in the panorama is that because of the overall picture, I would say the awareness or the request for awareness of the beneficiaries has increased. There is a legitimate demand of understanding much more how much one will get when he hits or he or she hits the pension age. So there is a legitimate demand for greater transparency. Plus, what has changed is the investment needs that I was referring a minute ago and which have become more evident in the past. IORP tries to respond, IORP 2 obviously, tries to respond to those three broad areas, looking on one side at what the economists call the agency problem, which is the professionalism of the managers, which is in general, I would say, lato sensu, the governance of the institution. That's one area. The other area is the area of information, improving the type of information which is given to the ultimate beneficiary of the pension. And the third area is certainly the one where any European official will always be willing to mention, which is reaping the single market scale economies. And there clearly there are areas where we can do substantially better, in particular with respect to pension funds. Let's not forget this is a business where size, diversification, and things, of course, do matter a lot. So that is the I'd say the three areas where IORP tried to intervene. We had, as you know, a common approach in the Council, which essentially retained the substance and the principle of those three areas, made some changes on the tools. In particular, it increased a bit the flexibility with respect to what the Commission had proposed in the first place, but definitely it retained the substance and the principles. I understand, but Brian will be much more eloquent than me, that there are discussions going on in the Parliament. I was happy to be invited and then to listen to the public hearing, which I think gave lots of very good ideas, but I leave to you to elaborate on that. On our side, I would say this is long term, but as a former Commission President used to say, if it takes 100 years to grow a oak, you better start today. So it's long term, but the sooner we start, the better it is. So I would say we are ready to start the trialogue whenever, of course, the Parliament reached a common position, and we are keen to do it. On the top of that, we have even one instrument more for wanting these things, which is Capital Markets Union. We have mentioned it in the paper, and I think you, Liam, has said it in your introduction. There is a correlation, which I think is quite sound, between the countries who have big pension funds and deep capital markets. It's very clear that the link between the two is there. Big pension funds means big hands intervening in the capital markets, and therefore you have big capital markets. We are aware, of course, of the number of points that need to be discussed, like the nature of the IORP, which type of institution are they, the requirements needed to go cross-border, the nature of the liabilities that the IORP have, and all the issues relating to the amount of harmonization that may be needed. For all those points, we certainly do not have today a reply, but that is the reason why we look for an early start of the trialogues. And early in temporal sense, I mean, when the Parliament is ready, we are happy to start the trialogue. And because, as I hope is clear now, we believe that the pension are, if you want, at the professional pension are at the exact middle point, at the exact central point between the stability policy that we had to do in the past in order to regain stability for Europe, and the growth policy that we are pursuing now, both through the, let's call it, supply side effect, what the pension fund can contribute to the capital markets, and in particular also to the big project of the Capital Markets Union, but also, and I repeat myself, but I think it's important, through the demand effect, and in particular the impact on consumers. So I would leave it at that for the time being, and ready, as you said, to take any question. Thank you very much.